more advanced products. Now when we have Android phones, we have iPhones and all of that, who would want to be using a Nokia 3310? So this is another reason why product design is very essential. Now, another purpose of it is that it encourages innovation. The ability to identify a problem is a very important factor that distinguishes product designers from any other kind of designer. So, a product designer identifies a problem and brings in a solution that may have never been in existence before. For instance, with the advent of AI, before AI came into became as popular as it was never there. But then imagine when somebody identified that, okay, there would actually be it will be better if people can, from the comfort of their homes, from wherever they are, get whatever information they want, get anything they want in any way they want, get be able to do researches from the comfort of their home without necessarily going to a library or moving from one place to the other. When these things come up, you now realize that social media platforms now bring in this the ability to now bring in this AI into social media platforms. For instance, WhatsApp. Now, if you notice, WhatsApp has an AI platform. That AI platform, Meta is a product, is a digital product. Now, people being able to use Meta has brought about an innovation. It's an innovation. It's not something that used to be there before. I could not be using my WhatsApp before, and if I want to if I want to get access to an AI facility, I don't have to necessarily. Before, I could go to my browser to look for it, but now I can do it while I still chat with people I'm chatting with. So it's an innovation. So being able to identify a problem, which is that people would want to would want to have artificial intelligence solutions from the comfort of where they are without necessarily going to a browser, being able to do it while they are chatting. It has created they have identified a problem, and by incorporating it into a social media platform, WhatsApp, now it has brought about an innovation. Now, another purpose is that it encourages product usability and accessibility. This is self-explanatory. So when you identify that this is what the users need and you create the product in such a way that it suits the particular users you target and it is accessible to them, the features in the product are easily navigable, it promotes it helps to promote usability and accessibility. So that takes us to the next point, which is the branches of product design. But before I move on to that, I want to be sure that I have not been talking to myself since. So please, if you've been following the class so far, can you drop a comment in the chat box or an emoji or something? Okay, thank you, Justina. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Ogechuku. Thank you, everyone, for following. Thank you. I'm not talking to myself. So now we've moved on to the branches of product design. Now, just like most career paths, product design is multidisciplinary, meaning that it's it provides several areas. There are several areas you can major in as a product designer. So the branches of product design are categorized into the user experience design, UX design, then there's the user interface design, the industrial design, service design, and the interaction design. So I'm going to be treating them one after the other. I'm very sure that most persons initially, when I was hearing about UI UX and product design, when I was hearing about product design UX, I think it was trying to one thing. It's not really something as UI. Do you understand? So when I now had to start studying into it and going on trainings for it, and I realized that they were actually different branches. So we have the user experience design. User experience design, a user experience designer focuses more on how the product feels and how the user interacts with the product. So a designer in UX, the UX designer focuses more on research, tries to understand what exactly drives a user, what need does the user have. So this is the major job qualification of a user experience designer. The user experience designer tries to understand, performs research, wireframing, prototyping, and usability testing. And the purpose of this is to ensure that the product is enjoyable. So it is this user experience designer that tries to understand why people use the product, why people would want to use a product, and he tries to make the product as enjoyable as possible. So most of these stems, wireframing, prototyping, and all of that, in subsequent classes, they will be explained further. So another okay, yes, that's what the user experience designer does. Now for the user interface design, user interface focuses more on aesthetic pleasure, or the beauty of whatever product, the physical beauty of the product, the visual beauty of the product. Now it is the user interface designer that is more concerned about colors, color schemes, typography, the layout of the product, and all these other things that the looks, the actual look of the product. So the user interface designer is more focused on the looks of the product than the functionality, even though he's focused on the functionality of the product, but his major aim is to see that the product is aesthetically pleasing to the user. Now, the industrial design focuses on the physical appearance and the functionality of a product. Now, this industrial designer is more of refers more to the the physical aspect of design. So we actually have this one deals more with physical products. Is not so concerned with the software and all those other things like apps and all of that. That's not the focus of the industrial designer. The industrial designer is works with tangible products. So it's able to make sure that whilst this product is beautiful, is aesthetically pleasing, it is also functional. It's also working. So the tablets we use, the phone, smartphones, cars, and all of these are the process of bringing all those things into fruition, or the final, or bringing them to the final stage, from the addition stage to the final stage, is the job of the industrial designer. So the industrial designer focuses on physical products. Now we have the service design. Now, a service designer focuses on the bigger picture of how the products and services interact across different touch points. So they look at the overall experience of a customer with the service. So they're not just focused on the beauty, they're focused on is more like an overall thing. They want to ensure that whilst you are able to hold a very beautiful iPhone 16, an iPhone 16 that gives you the features that iPhone 15 Pro Max will not give you. While they are focused on those things, they are also focused on ensuring that the functionalities that have to be in an iPhone 16, that those things are actually there. That your iPhone 16 has enough memory space that the iPhone 15 Pro Max may not have. That your iPhone 16 is able to perform functions that the iPhone 15 Pro Max cannot perform. So these are the things that the service designer is focused on. Service designer is focused on making sure that those things that are essential in using a product. So if I'm talking about an iPhone, or if I'm talking about a phone generally, the major essence of having a phone is communication. So what the service designer ensures is that that product is able to actually give that service while also being beautiful and giving all the characteristics that a good product should have. That's what the service designer focuses on. While the interaction designer focuses the on ensuring that a product is smooth and intuitive. So it ensures that there is a feedback system, an interactive system with the product, that the user is able to feed in information and get back information, and there's a way to know whether the user is satisfied with the use of that product. So we have an example of this should be an hospital booking system or a customer service system on an app. So that particular aspect is what the interaction designer is more into, to make sure that the users are able to send feedbacks to the designer, and these feedbacks actually help the designer to create updates if an app needs an upgrade or whatever. It most times is as a result of the function of this interaction design in the product that the designer is able to know that, okay, yes, this product needs an upgrade. Do we understand? So that is what interaction design is all about. So in subsequent classes there will still be more light on all of that. So also to mention, in this particular class my focus will be on user experience design, but since it's an introductory lecture, we are just considering all areas of product design and all of that. But in subsequent classes, my focus will be more on the user experience design or user experience research. So now we now move on to the I think this should be the final part for this introductory class. And this is actually a very interesting part, and I say it's interesting because the end goal of whatever we are doing here, in as much as the knowledge is beautiful and is something that we love to get and all of that, if I'm doing something and I don't get revenue from it, why am I doing it? Do you understand? So the passion and revenue we want to get from product design would be possible if I'm able to identify the career paths in product design. So essentially, the question I'm going to be asking you today is, at the end of this course, at the end of this training, which is supposed to last for a period of 3 months, what career path, if I'm to explore a career path in product design, what career path should I explore? Which one suits my personality more? Which one do I think will give me more money? Which one is more attractive to me? Which one do I think I will be better at? Which one would I fit more into? And the career paths that can be explored in product design, as we have on the slide, include the user experience designer, the user interface designer, the product designer, the design or user experience researcher, the design manager, and the product manager. So now let's try to give a brief rundown of what each of these are about. But surely in the course of subsequent classes, you would come in contact with most of these career paths. So for the user experience designer, just like I explained user experience design as a branch of product design, the user experience designer is focused on bringing out the best possible experience for a user, and he does this by identifying the needs of the user, understanding those needs, and being able to bring those needs into, or rather being able to bring a solution for those needs. So that's the basic role of a user experience designer. Now, for the user interface designer works on the visual elements of a product, just like I mentioned. So this is the person that will be using the color schemes, doing all the aesthetically pleasing activities that have to do with user, that have to do with the product design. So that is what the user designer will be doing. Now, the product designer is someone that tries to be a jack of all the trades together. So this product designer is someone that sees, if we remember in the branches that we mentioned, in the branches of product design that we mentioned, each of these roles, each of these branches play specific roles. So while the user experience designer tries to understand what exactly do these people need, ideation process, and being able to have an idea of, okay, this is the need of these people, what can I do to get those needs met? So what do I do to get a solution for those needs? The user interface designer is focused on, how do I make this product that is about to be produced to be beautiful? How do I make it aesthetically pleasing to the people? What kind of colors should I use? So for instance, if the product that is about to be created is for a child, you know, children love a lot of um bright colors. If you're doing something for colors, for instance, you want to the product that is about to be made is a bed sheet for children, you will not gonna be making black bed sheet for your child. So these are some of the things the user interface designer would be looking into, would be considering. So now the point I'm trying to drive in with this explanation, this particular explanation I'm making, is that for a particular product there can be a user experience designer, a user interface designer for the same product, the UX researcher for the same product, the design manager for the same product, and the product manager for the same product. But now what the product designer now does is that the product designer is not just there for a particular aspect of the product and of the design process. No, the person is there for all the processes of the design, which includes the point of ideation. That's the point where the ideas about the product that's about to be made are known, the point where the needs of the users are being known, till are being discovered, till the point where the final product has been brought into the market. And in fact, after the product has been brought into the market, the product designer, okay, the product designer's role ends to where the product has been brought into the market. So that means it's a combination of the user experience role and the user interface role. That's the role of the product designer. While for the design or UX researcher, so if here what you're interested, the career paths you might be interested in is user experience research or design research. Now your role as a user experience researcher is to gather ideas or gather data on how users interact with products and provide insights to improve those designs. So as a user researcher, your work is more on the field. So you're on the field trying to find out, okay, I'm about to produce let's say I'm about to produce a what instance should I use? Let's say I'm about to produce a car. So I have to go into the field and find out, meet people, find out what kind of car would you like. So these are the people that carry out surveys, trying to find out what kind of car would you like, and what color of car would you like. If you're a man, what color of car would you think you like? As a lady, what color of car do you think you would like? Would you prefer a car that can do this or do that? Like all these things are examples of what the user researcher does. The user researcher actually goes into the field to discover those specific needs of the designer. So the focus of the user experience researcher is to gather data that will be used in producing or creating the product. Why for the the design manager manages the design team. So like I explained, on the design team, you would have to design a product, to design a new car. There has to be a UX researcher. there has to be a UX designer, there has to be a UI designer, there has to be a product designer. So now what the design manager's role is to manage these persons. So the person tries to gather the information this one is giving, gather the information this one is giving, and is able to, through that process, know what exactly or how to combine all these features into a product. So the design manager manages the different designers or the design team. Now, the product manager is the person that leads the development of the product from a strategic perspective, ensuring that the product meets market demands and business objectives. So, the product manager, now, when a product is being brought into, or rather, when a product is being created, the idea behind creating a product, nobody wants to create a product for the purpose of just creating. There has to be a business outcome for whatever you're doing, for a product you are making or you're rather creating. So what the product designer, or sorry, what the product manager does is to ensure that at the end of everything, at the end of the design process, these objectives, the business objective, so if the business objective is to make a certain percentage of revenue at the end of whatever exercise they are carrying out, the product manager is there to ensure that those objectives are met. If the intent, whatever the intention of the business is, whatever the goals, objectives, drive of the business in creating that particular product, it is the role of the product manager to ensure that in the process of creating those products, or even after the products are created, the particular product created must meet the objectives of that business or the goal of creating the business. So this is actually the final part of, that's actually the last slide in the in this particular course. Is an introductory class, like I mentioned. So like I said, the very first take home for me, for you, for everyone on this call is that product design, the aim of product design is for the is for the people and not for the product. So that's the major thing you should take home. You're not producing a product to just for the sake of producing or creating a product. The purpose of creating any product, the purpose of being a product designer, the purpose of going through this course is to ensure that at the end you are able to meet the user's needs. Now, in the next or other parts subsequently in this course, we'll be looking into the process of designing products. So we'll also consider the ideation process, research, prototyping, and testing. So all these things will be considered. Now remember that product design is a dynamic and multidisciplinary field. So you're here, there are various areas you can explore. So while the courses are going on, while the trainings are going on, make sure you try to find your strengths in product design. Am I going to be better at user experience design? Am I going to be better as a at user interface designing? What area am I going to be better at? And leverage on those areas, leverage on them. So I think we've come to the end of today's class. I think we've come to the end of today's class. Um, I know the class was supposed to end by 8:30. So I hope we've been able to gather a lot through this class. So maybe we can start, maybe we can just give a brief rundown of what we've done so far, especially for those that probably joined late, and also that I'm sure that everybody is at par with us. So for the course, we started with we started by explaining what a product is, and we mentioned that any a product is something that meets the needs, motivations, and behaviors of a user. So a product is something that meets the needs of a user. It's a solution to a user's problem. That's what a product is. And we emphasized, I think that's the major emphasis we had today, that product design, the purpose of of product design is for the people and not the product. So the focus of a product designer is not on the product, but on the people that the product is being made for, which are the users. Now, we went on to explain that product design is the process of creating products that solve real problems for real people, and it involves a deep understanding of the user, the behaviors of the user, and motivation to design solutions that are intuitive, effective, and desirable. Then we moved on to ask ourselves why go into product design. What's the purpose of product design? And we mentioned that it creates user-centered solutions. It is focused on the user. The second purpose is that it drives business success. The third one is that it enhances user experience. It encourages innovation, and it improves product usability and accessibility. Then we went on to talk about the branches of product design. So product design has five branches according to what we have here. We have the user experience design, user interface design, industrial design, service design, and interaction design. I went on to explain that user experience design focuses the on understanding the needs of the user and understanding what kind of product they would need. Why the why user why user interface design focuses on the aesthetic beauty or the visual the visual aspect of the design. So this one considers the color coding, what layout should be used, and all of that. While the industrial designer is focused on physical products, the design of physical products. So he or she or the industrial designer considers the physical appearance and functionality of a product, while the interaction design tries to ensure that there is an interaction between the user and the product in making the product that is being brought into in making product that is being created. So that's what interaction design is about. Then service design considers how the products and service interact across different touch points. So for service design is focused on the overall experience a customer has with a service. So these are the branches of product design that we considered. And then we now explore the career paths. The career paths we would all want to explore at the end of this course. And there are several options here. We have the user experience designer, which focuses on understanding the user's needs, user interface designer, visual elements of the design, the product designer who oversees the product from the ideation stage to the testing stage and final to the stage of prepare of creating the final product, and then the design or UX researcher who enters into the field to gather data that will be used for the purpose of the design. Then we have the design manager who oversees the design team, and the product manager who ensures that at the end of the process, the business objectives of bringing that product are actually achieved. So thank you all for being a part of this class. Thank you all for paying attention. I want to be sure people actually paid attention. Please. Yes, okay. I'm very sure you guys paid attention. So thank you all for being part of this class. I'm Melvina Okeshuku, and it was a pleasure seeing you guys. So nice being here, Esther Doi, Dorothy Chipeta, Joyce Gia, Jessica Eze. Thank you all. Thank you. Please remember, if you have any question whatsoever, drop them in the Telegram platform, and they will be attended to as swift as possible. The reason we are leaving it on Telegram platform and it should be answered and the questions will be responded to there is so that those that were not in the class can actually subsequently get access to those answers and see the questions. So thank you all for being here. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.
This
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
To
Thank you. God bless
thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Bye. Bye,
Thank
Mama.
you, Mama. God bless.
Thank you. Bye.